The Oscar goes to Expend4bles. Oh, yeah. Oh, I just want to thank.
I'd like to thank the Academy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Two Asian Blokes Podcast, a podcast where we talk about Asian pop culture, films, TV shows, comic books, anime, music, food, video games, whatever we're feeling at the time. Really, my name is Dan with H. With me, as always, is my co-host Tavi. Drinking a glass of water.
I got a drink, man.
You know how the intro goes, and you chose that exact time to drink a glass of water.
That's right. When I'm thirsty, I drink water.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. This isn't fucking, I don't know, whatever unfair work corporation thinger.
Yeah. You're crunched, Tavi. You're crunched.
I'm going to have to take a shit. I'm going to take a shit if I want to.
Give him a break, man. He's never done this before.
It's the first time. Fair enough.
Yes.
We got a guest.
Yeah, that's right. As you would have heard. That was Boon. Hi, Boon. Welcome back.
I'm back.
You're
Boon
back.
is back to do another bad movie with us.
Yeah.
You're always here for the bad movie, for the bad ones.
Yeah.
No, it's not. John Wick 4 was the last one that we did.
That's true.
That's
I
not a
guess
bad
I'm just
movie.
a resident dad action
Yeah, it was
correspondent.
correspondent.
Yeah.
But this is the first time that we're all together in the same room.
Oh, yeah, that's special, isn't it?
So it is kind of special.
That is true.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's all
Thank
right.
you for coming, because today we're going to talk about Expend4bles, the fourth installment in the Expend4bles franchise. Ooh, woo. Are we excited?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I was when I saw the trailer, I guess.
Yeah.
Were you actually?
I think I was.
Yeah, you sent me the trailer.
Yeah,
It
I'm
looked
like,
cool.
I'm like, this looks interesting.
I think
Echo
Expend4bles
US?
3 soured this franchise for me. I remember really disliking Expend4bles 3.
Yeah, me too. Expend4bles 3 really soured it for me as well. Yeah.
It did that thing that I really hate when like they try to introduce a new team.
Yeah.
But all you want to see is the old team. But
that's
they're
what
trying,
it's about.
Yeah, they're trying to get that new team in, and no, you don't like them, right?
Yeah, and the toned down violence.
Oh yeah, that was bad too.
There was a whole ratings kind of controversy where
Nah, slide pussied out.
yeah. Well,
He chose money over violence.
That's right.
Which
Yeah.
is usually the call in Hollywood anyway.
And it didn't equate to more money anyway, so he made the wrong call.
That's what people loved about loved is probably a bit of a pushing a little bit. That's what people enjoyed about the first two Expend4bles movies, in that they were pretty hyper violent, and it was cool to see.
I guess we'll circle back to the
old
violence
guys.
factor for Expend4bles when we get into it in earnest.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I don't think I was excited for this movie just because of the stank that the third movie left in my mouth, I guess. Like, I think it was the promise as well. Like, there were so many good things that Expend4bles 3 had going for it. Like, Wesley Snipes was in it.
Yep.
Mel Gibson was in it.
Yep.
Just
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey was
Yeah, you
in
love
it.
Ronda Rousey, Dan.
Yeah.
Actually,
I don't mind it.
we had a pretty interesting viewing experience before we watched Expend4bles. We did get very drunk when we
I was
watched
pretty
this
drunk
movie.
when I watched this the first
Yeah,
time.
we drank a lot more than we had anticipated, and it proved in my hangover the next day.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that enhanced our viewing experience, because actually I watched it again today, and it was better than I remember, to be honest. Still bad. Don't get me wrong. It's still bad, but like better than I remember. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
I would say it helped me during the viewing session.
I guess you probably had the highest expectations of this film going into it, because it does have two of our boys, Tony Jaa and Ko Uwais, in it.
It does.
Who we have talked previously about in previous episodes of our podcast. Harvey won't shut up about The Raid and The Raid 2. So,
Oh, you don't like those movies, Dan?
no,
Okay.
they're good movies. I just talk
You
about
just like
them
watching Hello Kitty or She-Hulk.
Exo Kitty.
Exo Kitty.
Yeah, it's not a bad show. Check it out. But no, yeah, Tony Jaa, Ko Uwais, two of our favorite martial artists / actors were in this film. Also joining the crew is 50 Cent. Andy Garcia's in there. Megan Fox is in there. Randy Couture comes back, as does Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham and Dolph Lundgren, of course. We've got a few newcomers and a few missing faces. I guess Terry Crews was too busy.
Terry Crews not in there. Jet Li
hasn't been in there since the second one, I think. Yeah.
No,
No, he wasn't in the
Antonio
third one.
Banderas is not there.
No Banderas.
No Wesley Snipes.
No Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
Unfortunately.
No Arnold.
No Arnold.
Ah,
No
yeah,
Bruce
no
Willis.
Arnold, no
Yeah.
Bruce,
No
yeah.
Arnold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice the absence, if I'm gonna be honest.
I think he's only in one of them, isn't he?
He's only
Yeah.
in the first one for a little bit,
Who,
and then
Arnold?
he was
No,
and then
he's in
he
the
was
second one.
he's in
got
the
a bigger-
second one,
bigger
but
role
not
in
a
the second
huge
one.
role. Yeah,
Comes
he
in with a
hasn't.
big
He didn't
gun.
really have a big role in either. That's why it's like his absence is a bit
Yeah.
more noticeable. But like he added a lot in the second one because he like has like these AA-12s and guns down a lot of people, and it's good fun.
Yeah.
I think people were just excited to see like Sly and Arnie in the same movie.
Yeah.
And
And Statham.
it took forever for it to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and-
they've got that long-standing rivalry, didn't
Rivalry,
they?
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, for anyone that's somehow not familiar with this franchise, the basis is bring all these old action stars and put them in an action movie together. So initially, they did have some, pretty big names, but I feel like they've kind of like filtered them out slowly as time goes. Like, I guess people just don't see the benefit of being in these movies anymore, and you can kind of see from the resulting cast of this movie, the only original members are Sly, Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, and Randy Couture, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think Randy is in the first one.
No, he's in
No,
the
he
first
is.
one.
Is
He's been
he?
in, he's been
Oh
in
my
all
God.
of them. Randy Couture and his cauliflower ear,
Yeah.
which they won't shut the fuck up about in this movie.
Yeah, that's his
It's a
thing,
running
man.
joke.
He's the guy with cauliflower ear.
It's the only movies that he's in pretty much as well.
On rewatching this movie, Randy Couture's dialogue seems particularly out of place. It seems like his dialogue, it seems like they wrote the script and then realized they had forgotten to give Randy any dialogue. So they were just like, oh, okay, let's give him this line and this line and this line. Like they picked all of the lines that could have been said by anyone,
Yeah.
and they just gave them to Randy.
I mean, yeah, he's kind of just like, his dialogue is completely made up of one-liners, pretty much.
It's one-liners and
Yeah.
also like exposition.
Yeah.
One-liners and he's a one-liner exposition guy,
Yep.
and also the cauliflower ears guy. So
Yep.
he's got like a little thing with Levi Tran. Is that how I say your name?
Yeah,
Levi Tran.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a kind of a like there's a lot of romance. It's just like
I think it's just
crush.
banter.
Yeah,
Crush slash
there's a
banter.
crush. But there's another Asian actress
Yeah,
as well.
and another newcomer to this cast.
Yep.
Who is she? I'm not
I
familiar.
think she's
with her.
just like a model.
So Levi Tran is American actress and model. Yeah, I'm not overly familiar with.
Yeah, I
her.
didn't
Wow,
know.
she's
who-
40. She's 40. She does not
Yeah,
look
yeah.
40.
She does not.
Yep.
I thought she was pretty good in this. I mean, she's got an action scene.
She has one action scene.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
like
think,
she was
yeah.
good, but her inclusion was so like fucking
Minimal.
random.
Super random,
Like
right?
she just appears out of like nowhere.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, Tony Jaa just appears out of nowhere as well, doesn't he?
And disappears out of nowhere.
And then comes back.
This is it really kind of summed up kind of what's really quite bad about this movie. Everything seems so haphazard, including the
Yeah.
inclusion of like her character and Tony Jaa's character, to be fair.
Including a lot of the action scenes.
Yes.
Slapdash, aren't
Yeah,
they?
the action scenes, like I think we were discussing like the multitude of things that were wrong in this movie,
Yeah.
but like when you're making an Expendables film or an action film, you only really need to get one thing right, and people may forgive you a little bit. It's you have to get the action right, and like the action is really bad in this
you mean
movie.
people aren't watching it for Sly and Statham's banter?
Oh, surprisingly not, Dan. No. They're not watching it for the...
And their banter has not
That's
gotten
not
any
even
better.
true. Yeah. Their banter has always
I
been
swear
bad.
some of the dialogue was just completely rehashed from the first two.
Probably, yeah.
Well, there's definitely a callback or two. There's definitely one callback at the end where it's like, you could have killed me.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely a Statham voice, yeah.
But yeah, like, so the action in this movie.
So bad. It's
Yeah.
really bad. It's like
it's
some of
pretty
the
bad.
worst action I've seen in a film, in $100 billion film, which I cannot get over. You know, like, yeah. What do you guys think of the action in this movie?
I mean, the action is bad, but it's also made worse by the fact that the CGI is also some of the
Bad.
worst that I've seen.
I think the CGI is
The
probably
CGI
the
is
most
bad.
egregious thing about
And the
this
fact
film.
that these actors can actually fight as
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
And then it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
shot
yeah.
like in a way that makes them like look like they couldn't
Well, no,
fight.
it's like super lazy. I think on the actors' part, probably as well. Like this movie like there's some good stunt work in this movie, but the problem is at no point do you feel like the actors are actually doing any of the action.
No.
This movie feels like 3 different movies. It feels like one movie where there's actors like standing around an LA soundstage just posing with guns and like doing like shitty dialogue to each other and doing reaction shots, right?
Yeah.
And then there's another movie where like it's kind of like a fun little stunt show that you might see at like a theme park, you know, like Universal Studios or something.
It does.
And then there's a third movie that's just like cutscenes from like Metal Gear Solid 2 or something.
Yeah. It's like, it is literally PS2 graphics.
Yeah, like shitty like CGI airplanes flying through bad
PS2
skies.
is a bit of an exaggeration, but it does look like
It looks
PS3.
like a mobile phone game.
Yeah.
Like,
mobile phone
so
games
bad.
look better. Like mobile phone
So
game
fucking
technology.
bad.
Yeah,
But like,
I was gobsmacked by how bad a lot of these action scenes were, to be honest. Like, it's just Jason Statham on like a mounted gun, and then like
and
it's
clearly,
very
like,
clearly
badly composited, right?
Yeah.
And then it'll
Shitty
cut
green
to
screen.
like stunt actors jumping around on cars, and then it'll cut back to like Statham, like a close up of Statham, and he's just like in a
think,
nowhere space.
Like, do you think there was a little bit of overworkedness in this movie? It's just like,
I mean, I think
Or
it would have
just-
been worse if like if they'd worked it less, if that makes sense.
You mean on the
Like,
visual effects?
yeah,
side?
I mean, like I can't see. Well, imagine if Iko Uwais wasn't in this film.
Yeah.
That would have made the action even worse.
even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
be fair, he's doing a lot of the
Iko
stuff,
Uwais-
and Tony Jaa is doing
the
a lot of
Asians have the
stuff.
best. The Asians have the best fight scenes in this movie.
And Iko Uwais fights Jason Statham at the end.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the level of violence though? I feel like it's a step up from the third movie.
It definitely
it's
is.
definitely a step up.
It's pretty violent.
There's some CGI
The
blood in there.
CGI violence is bad though.
Yeah,
it's
like Iko Uwais like rips people's like jugulars out.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah,
like,
he's got his
yeah.
sharpened wooden tonfa sticks.
Exactly. It's definitely
He
a step
executes
up.
a kid at one point.
yeah, he
Yep.
executed.
It's the classic kind of this guy is actually really evil
Yeah,
moment.
he's the bad guy. He's the bad
And
guy.
then it just executes. Yeah,
Even though a
shoots
lot
him
of the
off
time
screen.
he is just asking people where something is. He's like, "Where's the colonel? where are the codes? Where's the detonator?"
Do you buy Iko Uwais as a villain though? Because it's
like
not his
him.
first time as a villain.
I honestly like him as a
Yeah.
villain. I know he's not the best actor.
He's not the best actor.
especially in
No.
English, I think. But
His English has improved a lot, to be
Yeah,
fair.
it has.
Yeah.
He's got like a certain menace to him. Like
He's
there's
got a
bit-
scowl.
There's a bit right at the start where he chucks like a tonfa bat at the at this general guy and it stabs him through the chest or like the shoulder or something. Then he leans in and he's like, "Sup, general?" And I'm like, "Yes, Iko." I like that delivery, man.
Well, that line alone kind of sums up what you're in for watching this
General.
when you're watching this kind of movie, really.
Yeah.
But usually when you're watching like a dad action film though, especially from like those 80s, 90s era, like one-liners are like one of the main draws that like make something very entertaining.
Of course.
But like, I'm not sure if I was just super drunk when we were watching this, but like, there's just no good banter, there's no good like,
Yeah.
It's not funny.
It's not
Nothing
funny.
is funny.
This has
Yeah.
never been a strength of the Expendables franchise. Like the dialogue has never been a strength. Like,
yeah, I guess
Because
so.
That's
yeah.
true.
Because
Yeah.
you're getting all these action stars, yeah, like Arnie and Sly
Yeah.
and stuff, and they're kind of used to doing one-liners like by themselves.
By themselves,
not
They're
really
not really
interacting.
used to playing off each other.
It's true.
You know, they're used to being the biggest guy in the
Yeah.
movie, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Even Statham to an extent.
for sure.
So I feel like they're just not used to developing any kind of chemistry with
Yeah,
their
maybe.
co-stars.
Yeah.
That's definitely true, I would say, in this movie, because all the scenes with Sly and Statham, it almost looks like they're doing it for the first time, almost, even though they've done it 4 times now.
Yeah,
It's just so weird, but I mean, that's not really what you're going in to this movie wanting or looking for,
Yeah,
as we all know.
I think like my issue with this franchise in general is that like it's kind of marketed as being very gratuitous, right, in its violence and just like how it doesn't
Yep.
really care about plot as much as the action, but it just kind of pussies out on everything. Like
it started pussing out in Expend4bles 3.
Yeah, but they don't go over enough as well. Even the villains, like probably the first one had like the most maniacal kind of villain. Oh no, Van Damme. Van Damme was amazing.
The second one, like
don't challenge me.
Don't challenge him.
The second one was my favorite one, I think.
Yeah.
Like the first one was good, but I also actually remember being a little bit disappointed, but by exactly that reason you said. Because prior to Expend4bles 1 coming out, we had watched like Rambo 4 with Sly,
which is great,
which was like gratuitous. That was gratuitous,
like point blank, like heavy machine guns.
The violence in that movie was so
rips
gritty.
That pedophile's guts out.
And like you see like dudes,
pedophile warlord,
dudes get like
kicks him down a hill. His guts go everywhere.
Like Sly's on a mounted machine gun and like point blank shoots a few guys and they just explode.
Yeah.
I honestly think like I remember watching Rambo 4 for the first time, be like, whoa, this is. Like, I did not expect that level of violence. And, like, the way that the guys step on the mines in the field, it's not that flashy, fiery violence. It's, like, muddy gristle and, like, giblets flying. I was like,
that was pretty confronting, that scene.
Yeah, it was quite confronting. Yeah. And then when Expend4bles 1 came out, it kind of started it off like that, but it's a bit more
camp.
Yeah, more camp and more palatable with its violence.
I think Rambo 4 was not very successful commercially, right? I think that's part of the reason why Sly decided to turn down this this franchise.
And yet they did another Rambo movie like 2 years ago.
That one,
Last Blood.
Last Blood. I didn't watch it.
That's bad. Yeah,
it's not very good.
Apparently, that was really violent as well. Did you?
It's
watch
pretty
it?
violent, but but it's bad.
Yeah,
it's not like giblets flying everywhere.
I do enjoy my giblets flying around when I watch violent films. Like just calling back to one of Iko Uwais' better movies, Night Comes For Us.
I thought you were going to say The Raid.
It happens in The Raid too as well. There's a scene where like the car explodes.
Yeah. but The Night Comes For Us is like an extra level of gore and gruesomeness, isn't it?
That is pretty gratuitous as well. Yeah.
The butcher scenes.
It's great.
Those movies are great, yeah. I think since like just talking about those movies now and like the gap between Expend4bles 3 to 4, we've just seen like other countries' cinema go that extra mile. I mean, like we've seen The Sadness since then, when The Night Comes For Us, and just a much more like a bunch
of John Wick movies.
A bunch of John Wick movies. John Wick movies aren't not particularly They
have the same level of CGI blood splatter, right?
Yeah,
they're pretty violent, but
they're violent, but not gory.
They're violent in their action. It feels more visceral, right, than this, where it feels like nobody's doing nothing except for the stunt guys.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I mean, like, it's interesting that they went from Expend4bles 3 that was very bloodless to Expend4bles 4, which is kind of like more. It has more blood, but it's still not.
It's not. It's just like
extra.
It's just a bit shit. To be honest.
Yeah. It was one of the worst cinematic experiences I've had in a while.
Yeah.
The fight scene between the fight/sex scene between Jason Statham and Megan Fox is one of the worst things I've seen for a long time.
To be fair, that's in the trailer, and
that was
it got me kind of excited.
It might have been selling. I could see it as a selling point, but it's bad, man.
It's bad.
So what? I feel bad for Megan Fox in this.
What is Megan Fox's character? Because her introduction is like she's just like
a hysterical drunk woman,
and then she's suddenly like a commando.
Yeah,
and then she's suddenly the lead of the Expend4bles.
Well, I think from the start of the movie, she's a member of the Expend4bles.
Oh, okay.
Because she calls Barney her boss at the start of the film.
Okay.
So
I missed that. Then
she is that. Yeah. But
and she's Jason Statham's like love interest.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's the Expend4bles, part of the Expend4bles, right? She's just a love
if you miss that little bit of dialogue, it would feel super random when she comes onto the missions and stuff. Yeah,
an excuse to give her more screen time as well, since having her be an expendable.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing she was one of the higher paid talent in
Maybe
this movie.
this movie cost $100 million, right?
Yeah, because $100 million. I know there was.
I wonder where that budget went to.
there was definitely like a bit of drama behind the scenes with this film. I know that.
And you can see it in one of the plot twists, right?
It, yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll probably do full spoilers for Expend4bles, right? Because who cares?
Yeah, no one gives a shit. I mean, like, yeah, let's just say it. Like, Sly didn't like the direction of this movie originally, so he actually declined to be in the movie. And I forgot the reason, but he decided he wanted to come back. And then they're like, all right. So they just had to quickly like write something in for him. And then he's like, so he's basically at the start of this movie and he supposedly dies, but then he comes back literally, I think in the last 2 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hi, I'm back.
I faked my death.
Yeah, I faked my death.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, that was a massive cop-out, wasn't it? Like,
But,
yeah.
I mean, like with that in mind, like with all that drama kind of considered, I'm surprised they turned this into like a pretty cohesive, like it's pretty cohesive plot-wise. Like there's a lot of MacGuffins that they're chasing, but like the reason he fakes his death, it makes sense. And he kind of explains it in like 2 bits of dialogue. But yeah, he's like, yeah, we needed to flush out Andy Garcia. Oh yeah, by the way, Andy Garcia is a real bad guy in this film.
Yep.
I mean, Iko Uwais is still a bad guy.
He's still a bad guy, but
he's like,
Andy Garcia is his boss.
yeah.
Yeah. Bad.
I don't
Andy
know.
Garcia is really bad in this film.
He's so
Andrew
bad.
Garcia
like
is bad in this
comically
movie.
bad.
Yeah.
I actually liked his character because he was so bad.
Okay.
Like when he was on
Okay.
screen, I was entertained.
Talks about his balls a lot in this film.
Again, the banter.
Calls Jason Statham genital warts. That's really funny. This whole line ready for him. You're like genital warts, Jason Statham. You never know when to go away or something.
I don't remember that. Yeah,
It's good
gee.
writing.
Yeah.
And then he gets minced at the end as well. Barney shoots him with a helicopter.
Yeah, he does get
Just
minced.
explodes.
It's kind of violent, but it's
It's
like
violent, but it's like the CG is so bad that
it
it's
looks
just
like it did it done. Do you reckon some of
more
the
funny.
Yeah, it's pretty
Do
funny.
you reckon some of the CGI in this movie was done by AI? Like
I don't think so.
there's like
Could be, I don't know.
a certain level of uncanniness to like the ragdolling in this movie, because there's a bit where like Levi Tran and Tony Jaa, they fight Darren Knopp, who I don't know who he is. So he might be actually a very, very famous fighter. There you go. You got him up on the screen. Jimmy, get up on the screen. Get him up on the screen.
He's up on the screen.
Get up on the
You guys
screen.
can't see, but we've got a screen going. Like Joe Roganing up in this.
Yeah.
Fight choreographer, stunt performer, and martial artist Darren Knopp is known for Moon Knight, Expend4bles, and others. So,
You didn't really sell me with Moon Knight.
you haven't even watched Moon Knight, man.
Nah.
Got some good fighting in it.
I'm sure it's not that great either. But
Moonlight's
anyway,
actually all right.
Yeah, I mean,
is it?
Yep.
he-
Moonlight's fine.
Darren Knopp seems like a stunt performer / coordinator that's transitioning into acting. Maybe like Ray Park did, you know?
Well, yeah, he did have like a few good fight scenes anyway. But like, so he like when Darren Knopp dies and he like he gets knocked down this pit by Levi Tran and Tony Jaa, and then his like head explodes on something.
Explodes.
Yeah. But it's just the way that he fell. I remember it just didn't look right.
Yeah.
It just looked
weird.
It looked like CGI, and I think it was CGI. But I think
It definitely
like,
was.
It's definitely CGI, yeah.
It looked
Definitely was.
but it kind of looked like AI CGI.
I mean, it could be that, or it could just be cheap.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
done on the cheap and quickly.
Everything looked pretty bad. So to me, it was just another thing on the list that was bad. So I mean, another brutal death. That's another good thing about this movie, I guess.
Yeah.
All the villains do die pretty brutal deaths.
gruesomely. Yeah.
Iko Uwais gets off light.
Yeah,
that's
it just
true.
gets-
Just cops an axe to the heart or something. Whatever happened in that bit. Yeah.
Underutilized. I think,
Tony Jaa is really underutilized in this film as well.
Yes.
He like rocks up halfway through the film.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's like,
He seems like an afterthought.
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it's Tony Jaa. Like, he's got tons of charisma as well. He's probably like the most charismatic person in this cast. He's doing a lot with a little. I think.
It's true.
His,
kind of
his
like
English is
got
improved
kind
a
of a
bit.
comical kind of character as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that, you know, he's there to provide comic relief initially.
He's got the right level of camp too, I think, you know, like, and maybe it's just because it's Tony Jaa. I've got a soft spot for him.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, he rocks up halfway through the movie and then disappears again, and then comes back for a fight scene or two. And then yeah, he's just there to be like, I'm Tony Jaa.
Yep.
And pieces out.
Yep. I knee people. I elbow people.
Yeah.
I use a machete sometimes.
Yep.
I speak Thai.
We haven't really talked about 50 Cent.
Oh yeah, 50 Cent is in this movie.
Doesn't really do that much.
Doesn't do that much either. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
also underutilized.
He's kind of there to be Randy Couture's mate.
Yeah.
They're paired up kind of.
He's supposed to be the new Terry Crews.
New Terry Crews,
I
yeah.
guess so. But he's not like, they don't lean into like that stereotypical character that Terry Crews had, you know, the guy that's kind of like, woo, like Terry Crews
Get, like
kind
the
of
get some character.
Like, get some character. That's a good way to put it, yeah. 50 Cent, the 50 Cent character is kind of a bit cooler. He's like,
doesn't have much dialogue, to be fair.
Yeah, but the dialogue he has is kind of odd. Like, he scolds Jason Statham at one point for getting Barney killed, and it's like, who are you? 50 Cent?
You just joined this team.
Why are you scolding him in front of all his friends at his friend's funeral? Like, what are you doing?
I think that's just bad writing.
It's just bad writing.
It's just like randomly distributing lines to random characters. Yeah,
But he is involved in one of the more comical scenes in the movie too.
Well, is it him or his song?
Music?
his music. Yeah, there you go.
They do make use of you know, the 50 Cent classic
This is 50 Cent,
PIMP.
by the way. Yeah. I think it's because he's so underutilized in this movie that they had to. Because like there was a point where there was like they were trying to branch him into like an action star genre because like
He's Tank.
He's Tank.
He's Jack.
There was like these games, these PS2 games called like 50 Cent's Blood and Money or something.
Oh, I remember that.
He like goes to like Iraq or something and he like kills a lot of like terrorists, I guess. And it's like you know, that early 2000s like, you know, Bush era, so that was like acceptable back then to do that. Yeah, like now it's like it's a bit questionable now, but apparently those games were pretty fun. So yeah, they were trying to I think they're trying to run off that like previous somewhat half-baked 50 Cent is an action star.
Sure.
Kind of
like
guy.
Why not get him in? If he's willing to do it, why not? Like, he's okay in this film. I would
pretty
say.
inoffensive to be fair. A very inoffensive performance.
He's just not very. I actually like. I'm struggling to remember a line that he said in this movie. Like I don't know. Like, does he even kill anyone in this movie? He like grenades someone.
Well, there's a bit where he's on like the gun turret, like, and they're driving through, and then someone tries to jump on him. Yeah, and he like.
Just roughnecks them.
Ragdolls him like repeatedly against his car. And then they're like, whoa, what are you doing, man? You're crazy or something.
I don't remember that,
he's very unmemorable character to be fair.
Very unmemorable
but he's probably working pretty cheap nowadays.
Yeah.
He asks Randy Couture about his ears at one point.
Everyone asks Randy Couture about his ears in this movie.
His ears look weird, man.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
Cauliflower ear does look weird. It's pretty gross looking.
Yeah, they kind of milked that. So there's also a character that is we think he's supposed to be Antonio Banderas' son, right?
Yeah.
I think he says that he is his son at some point in the movie.
He says he's a son of somebody, but I can't remember any of the characters in any of these movies.
Well,
but he is doing his best like Antonio Banderas impression.
Yeah, young 20-year-old version of Antonio Banderas.
The first line, his introductory line is like, I have the same sex drive as my father. You're like, this character's weird. And he is pretty weird, but I like him because he's weird. He says some weird stuff. He talks about golden showers for a long time.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then they bring it back at the end of the movie. I'm like, oh yeah.
It actually becomes a plot point, you know? That's writing 101. If you're going to allude to something, you have to tease it earlier.
Genital warts, golden showers. This is the type of humor that you're coming into this movie, I guess, expecting.
Maybe this is a genius screenplay. The Oscar goes to Expend4bles. I just want to thank...
I'd like to thank the Academy.
there's a lot of injustice in the world these days, and
when Meg 2 didn't win Best Picture, I didn't think I would win an Oscar, but here I am, Jason Statham with an Oscar.
Jason Statham. I'm always gonna fucking kick Meg's in the face.
Meg 2 is good.
Meg 2 is good. Meg 2 is better than this movie.
Well, I mean, I don't think we have much more to say about this film, but maybe we should wrap it up by, like, is this film better than its predecessor or worse than
which one?
Expendables 3.
I preferred Expend4bles 3.
Okay.
I thought Expend4bles 3 was a better movie despite the lack of violence. Which says a lot, really.
I think Mel Gibson was good.
Yeah.
And I think I think all the actors were doing like a better job than these guys are.
Yeah.
Like they seem more invested, maybe.
I think the action scenes were just better as well, even though they may not have been as violent. I think the choreography and the set pieces were a little more thought out. They probably had a better team as well, because I think Expend4bles 3 actually had quite a large budget. Yeah, so
they had more people for sure, because they had an old team and a young team. Yeah. And I'm assuming the young team did a lot of their own stunts.
Yeah. I remember Ronda Rousey like judo throwing somebody and then armbarring somebody or something like that.
That's two things, isn't it? Judo and armbars.
Yeah. So makes sense.
Okay. What do you think, Tavi?
Yeah. I actually don't know, because I actually had a stronger reaction watching Expend4bles. I actually don't remember very much about Expendables 3, but also just being super, super disappointed. I think Expendables 3 it could have been a little bit better if they just didn't pussy out with the violence on that movie, I reckon.
Okay.
Because like some of the action scenes are fine, but they just edited it in a way that was terrible and almost unwatchable. I guess at least in this one, even though it looked shit, there was some like entertainment with the violence, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. Like they're both as bad as each other. I can't pick one because I'm not sure if that's a cop out, but I mean, does it really matter?
I think 3 was more disappointing because it was quite a scale back in terms of the violence from the first two. So it was underwhelming in that sense.
The second one was actually good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I think for Expend4bles is actually just really bad. Like everything about it is just bad.
I think probably 3 is better.
Okay.
But 3 is more disappointing. 4, I guess because I saw the reviews, I was like, ooh. So it didn't hit as hard. Even though it was worse than I expected, it was like I expected a bad movie.
Yeah.
And got a worse movie, but like,
Yeah, I think Expend4bles suffered from the production like drama maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like for me, the thing I hated most about Expendables 3 was like the introduction of the hip new young team. And like you're gonna love these guys.
Young anymore.
Yeah, like I just don't like it when movie franchises try to do that. Whereas in this movie, it's more ambiguous. Like there are young people in the group, but like there's kind of like people that are kind of middle aged and people that are older. So it feels like they're more of a team.
Yeah, there's not too much of that. Hey, move over, old timer kind of vibe that was in the third movie.
Yeah. Because no one wants to see like you're watching Expendables to watch old action stars do that action again. You don't want to see a new team. So I think the direction.
I don't mind the introduction of new young characters, but like just integrate them into the team.
Do you know a movie that did that really well? Top Gun Maverick did that pretty well. Yeah. Top Gun Maverick, which is like
it's just Tom Cruise clowning on a bunch of young pilots,
pretty much
for an hour and a half. Yeah.
You're kind of comparing one of the best action movies of all time to Expendables 4.
It's pretty good. To be honest, I think I talked about this with like that Tom Cruise movies being very, very entertaining, but then a little bit forgettable in my opinion. Like I don't have a desire to rewatch
any of the MIs.
I don't. I've never rewatched an MI, or I haven't rewatched Maverick since. I think it's just like
consistent.
The Jack Reacher movies are pretty forgettable as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Top Gun Maverick was more impactful because I didn't expect it to be good.
Yeah. And it was very good.
Yes. But I think that's all we have on Expend4bles, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Unless there's anything, I don't know.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean,
would you guys recommend this movie to people if like they just wanted, some cheap action?
No.
Okay, yeah. I wouldn't either. It's a complete waste of time, right?
It's a waste of time.
I might. I might.
Go watch
to the certain person.
Go watch like Nobody or something. It's much shorter and much better.
Yeah, I guess this is pretty egregious. Just the allocation of funds and it's a bad film.
Yeah.
In an era where we're getting a lot of dad action as well.
Yeah. In an era where like John Wick 4 exists, why would you waste your time?
That's true.
That is a fair question. All right. Well, shall we get on to the next section of the show? Boon is going to help us out with a second round of Martial Artists Battle Royale.
Woo, woo, woo.
So this is what we're doing. For those that haven't listened to our previous Martial Artists Battle Royale, what we do is we pick 4 actors. We decide on their most powerful character. So not necessarily the best movie, but the most powerful character for each actor. And then we put all 4 characters into a ring and see who comes out on top. The ground rules for this Martial Artists Battle Royale is human characters only and no weapons or tools allowed. So last time around, we had 4 excellent martial artists. We had Jackie Chan, Tony Jaa, Iko Uwais, and Jet Li. So this time around, we've got 4 martial artists, quotation marks for some of them. We are going to talk about Wesley Snipes, Jason Statham, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Steven Seagal.
Well, Steven Seagal is just gonna like die in the beginning. So.
Hey man, give him a chance.
Hey man, he's been in some badass movies.
And he's had a pretty interesting career.
Yeah, I guess we're talking about in their prime.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
What was Steven Seagal's best roles? Under Siege, right? That's his most.
Shall we talk about
character?
Steven Seagal first then?
Happy to.
Yeah, sure.
Bring up his bring up on the screen.
So yeah, early 90s, I guess, that window where the Under Siege movies came out, and A Time to Kill was probably his other big one.
Is that A Time to Kill? Hard to Kill.
Hard to Kill, that's right.
Yeah, Time to Kill is a Samuel L. Jackson movie.
Yes,
they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell. I'm not sure that's Steven Seagal impersonation.
I got it. But his first movie, his breakout role was Above the Law.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he's got movies like Under Siege. Under Siege is quite good from memory.
Under Siege 2 is also pretty good as well.
Yeah.
Is that the same as Executive Decision? Under Siege?
No, Executive Decision, he dies. He's like a captain or something.
Right.
And then like there's no fighting in it. Kurt Russell's the main character in Executive Decision. But he was in like, I'm just having a look now. Like, I remember On Deadly Ground was actually quite good. Actually, one of his lesser known movies, there was this movie called The Patriot, which I kind of have like more of a fond memory of because my dad would rent it from the video store and we'd always watch it. And it was like, it's pretty.
What's it about?
I think I'm trying to remember. It's like some like casino tycoon guys are trying to take over like Native American land or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
He's like a pretty public like animal rights and environmental.
Yeah.
Like spokesperson, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Apparently. It's hard to.
He's a fucking weird dude.
It's hard to tell what are lies and what are
universally known as a bit of a weird dude. Yeah.
Yes.
And a massive jerk. Apparently
apparently he's a massive jerk.
A massive jerk.
And he's probably got one of the most awkward, like on camera, like running actions you can ever imagine.
Yeah. Which is like not ideal for an action star, is it?
No.
You got to do a bit of running. I don't think he does much running anymore.
They probably saw it in one film and they're like, yeah, let's not write that in.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they made a skit out of that on Mad TV. Like there's like this guy who I think the skit is like he's trying to like teach these like martial. He's like in his like Aikido get up, and then he's trying to teach these like kids how to do martial arts, and then he's like trying to teach him how to like jump from roof to roof or something, and then like the guy like does the Steven Seagal run. It's really funny, and he just keeps slipping.
It's pretty distinct run. But I think from memory, like a lot of the time, he's just kind of playing like a badass, like law enforcement type.
Yeah,
right?
he's a cop a lot of the time.
Yeah.
He doesn't really chase bad guys though. He kind of like just challenges them and they try to fight him and he just schools them.
Yep.
Yeah,
he
he
falls
does-
into a situation sometimes, like in Under Siege. I think he just happens to be on the ship in the first one.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's a chef.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
But he's a chef, but he's like a
I'm
former.
just a chef.
Yeah, he's like a.
His character's name is Casey Ryback.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a
okay.
former Navy SEAL, as it says here. Yeah, I remember like I remember Tommy Lee Jones being like quite camp in this movie as well.
Yeah, that was that
Yeah.
like classic 90s cheese, you know?
Yeah.
Like and that's like where Steven Seagal kind of belongs. I think he's like, he's come up in a time where you could get away with that kind of action, right?
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
you could also get away with lying about anything and nobody's able to Google it and find out you're lying. you
Yeah,
know?
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
It came in a time in Hollywood where there wasn't that many kind of like martial artists doing their martial art on screen.
Yeah.
And like he might have been one of the first American guys to really pioneer that kind of martial arts action in Hollywood. I can't really think of anyone before him. Chuck Norris, maybe.
Yeah. Chuck Norris had been there for a long
Chuck
time.
Norris. But
Yeah, no, definitely he brought like a certain level of charisma as well.
Yeah.
Like he's got that voice, you know.
ponytail.
Yeah.
He's got the ponytail, yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's got Aikido,
Aikido.
which, you know, maybe fake martial art, but who knows?
So he's actually super respected in like Aikido circles.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
heard that he's super respected. Yeah.
He'd go.
Apparently the first American to teach Aikido in Japan
Yeah, and you
or something like that.
at these like seminars, for lack of a better term. There's like
Yeah.
they get like hundreds of people there, like
Yeah.
just worshiping this dude, and he's just
Sure.
like he's just throwing dudes in a bit of a show.
Yeah,
I've
They
seen the
love it.
clips.
Yeah, people love it.
Yeah. Apparently he's got like a very large antique sword collection as well. And
Checks out.
auction houses often call him to consult and appraise stuff. But, you know, once again, difficult to sift through the lies. But let's talk about some of his characters. Yeah, so we've mentioned Hard to Kill. His character is Mason Storm. Oh, okay. Under Siege, Casey Ryback, the chef, as mentioned. He plays the same characters in Under Siege 2. Executive Decision, his character's name is Lieutenant Colonel Austin Travis, and I believe he gets sucked out of the airplane very early on in the
He doesn't
film,
do any
right?
fighting in that movie, so I wouldn't even like.
Does a bit of
consider-
shooting, yeah. The Glimmer Man. Remember the Glimmer Man?
I haven't seen the Glimmer Man.
I saw it years ago, but I don't remember anything
I
about
just
it.
remember the TV ad for the Glimmer Man, and then it was like, you know why they call him the Glimmer Man?
Oh, yeah,
And it's
I
like a
think
couple of like scared henchmen, and
Yeah.
you're like, why? And he goes, because all you see is a glimmer, and then you're dead.
I used to see as a kid that movie at the video store. I used to think, oh, this must be like some really super serious like adults. Like this is like the pinnacle of what like adults watch for like something that is very like serious.
Yeah, it's got one of those VHS covers that is just like darkness
face,
and like
yeah.
half his face kind of like submerged. in
Yeah,
the
I used to
dark.
think like it was
That's
some
very
form
of
of
the
like
time.
some very form of like high arts. It's obviously not, but like yeah.
He was also in Exit Wounds. Remember Exit
Yes,
Wounds?
with DMX.
DMX,
R.I.P.
yeah.
And Half Past
yeah.
Dead
R.I.P.
with,
Half
with,
Past-
with
Half Past.
Ja Rule, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Damn.
Oh, it's on Netflix apparently.
Half Past Dead.
Half Past
I
Dead.
remember in Exit Wounds, we got the DVD once and we were watching it at my house, and there was like behind the scenes footage,
Yeah.
and there was like a behind the scenes clip of him trying to do like a wire stunt, like the only wire stunt in the film, and he just couldn't do it. Like he kept grabbing the wire. It's like a kick where he has to like, you know how they plant their hand
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
do like
Yeah.
a double kick and then spring back
Yeah,
up.
like a
using
capoeira
wires.
type thing.
Yeah,
That kind of thing. But he just couldn't trust in the wire, so he's just grabbing it. And I'm like, why are you putting this in the DVD? Like, this makes him look so bad.
I reckon someone put it on purpose because they're like, fuck Steven Seagal. It's such a massive prick. Yeah.
He's also got like his character buys a credit card with like a little blade in it. And it comes back at one point and he's just like slashing guys. So his characters often, of course they use Aikido
Yes.
and but they also use a lot of guns and knives, right? Which are obviously taboo in this martial artist battle royale.
There's a lot of slapping, I guess. That's what it
a
looks
lot of
like.
hand fighting stuff.
Yeah.
It's like kind of what he's known
He
for.
usually
in his
never really
movie.
struggles when he fights people. Like he's usually like quite
He's pretty OP in all of his movies.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
Which is, I'm not sure if that's just Seagal ego.
That's
It
definitely
probably is,
Seagal.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not sure if we can really account that into the skill. Though. Like,
Well, I mean, if we're talking just in the in-universe of these films, it comes down to the character skill, right? So
Yeah.
the characters are so skilled that nobody is a match for them.
Yeah,
Does it make sense?
really.
he's
Seagal
hard.
would
He's
just
hard
win?
to kill, man. He's
He's hard to kill.
He's hard to kill, man.
I reckon all his characters are probably of similar
Yeah,
skill
they're all
level.
the same.
They're all
You're
the
like-
same
you're
character,
like
man.
listing the same.
Except for Casey Ryback, who can cook.
Yeah.
I think that puts him above the others.
Yeah.
That's true. So yeah,
Let's give it to Casey Ryback,
We'll give it
shall
to
we?
Casey.
That's one of the only movies I somewhat remember.
I think they're the ones that I remember the most for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so our first contestant is Casey Ryback. Woo. Who should we talk about next?
Uh,
Go Wesley Snipes, I guess. We
yeah,
can go
let's
in
get
list order.
some diversity, shall we?
I like Wesley Snipes. He's got the Blade movies.
Yeah, I was going to
but,
say Blade is
you know,
probably his most
Yeah, that's
powerful
his most
character.
powerful, but he's
Since
a
he's
vampire.
not a human,
He's
though.
half human.
Oh, it's
though.
true.
So half of Blade Martial Artists Battle Royale. Does he ever get cured in those movies?
No, he doesn't.
Does
He's just
Nah, he's
just
pretty
always-
strong in those movies.
like if Blade would just win if it was in this because he has
Daywalker.
he's got all of their strengths and none of their weaknesses.
So Wesley Snipes has done some like dramatic roles as well. I think that's kind of different from the other people in this list. He was in Michael Jackson's Bad music video.
Yep.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
That
fights him.
character's probably pretty badass, right?
Yeah.
They do that weird like
Weird
knife fight where
scene.
they like tie themselves to each
Yeah.
other. Yeah,
They're like fight dancing.
fight
with a
dancing.
knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually
cool.
doesn't have that many martial arts films aside from Blade, to
I
be
think
honest.
like Passenger 57,
Yep. He's
he plays John Cutter. He's just at the wrong place at the wrong time,
Yeah,
you know,
he's
kind of
in
guy.
US Marshals as well. It was just basically just a remake of The Fugitive.
This
So,
guy
like-
right here, though, Demolition Man.
Demolition
What do you
Man,
reckon?
yeah.
Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man.
He's-
I really like Demolition Man.
Demolition Man's a great movie.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
Kind of ahead of its time, right?
I think so.
was.
Yeah.
Stallone helmed film.
In that other one as well, like Art of War. Is that his movie?
The Art of War. Yeah. He just plays some guy.
Is he he's a detective or something?
yeah, he's
in
a
that,
detective, but
right?
he
It's not really an action film, is it?
It is.
is.
It is an action
Okay,
film.
okay,
I remember
okay.
because he snaps
Yeah,
this
he-
chick's neck. And I remember when I was a kid, I was watching it. I was like, oh, this is brutal. It's like it's like a hit woman, and then he when he fights her, he just snaps her. And I was like, oh Jesus Christ, because I've never
Jesus
seen that much violence against a woman back then. It was like 2000. I remember that being quite
Yeah, he doesn't fuck
visceral.
around.
I was like, oh Jesus, calm down, man.
Ooh, Money Train.
Money Train, his character John from Money Train. Does he do any fighting in that movie?
I think he does. Yeah.
Kind of like a heist film, right?
yeah, it's more of a
Yeah.
heist film.
Woody Harrelson. is
Probably
it?
one of the more commercially successful films that he's
Jennifer
done.
Lopez, I
Yeah.
think, is in that film.
Correct.
I love it.
Aside from Blade, a lot of his characters are usually seems to be detectives or
Yeah, but
yeah.
they're usually
just people that
detectives that
can't,
can fight, though.
but he usually takes a little bit of damage.
His character in US Marshals is really skilled, right?
Yeah, but he's not a
Sure,
fighter. He's just running away from Tommy Lee Jones,
But he
who's
can fight when
setting up
confronted.
perimeters all the time.
Yeah, he's setting up a lot of perimeters in that movie. Robert Downey Jr. is in that movie. He's a secret bad guy.
Oh, is he?
I
I didn't remember.
always get that movie mixed up with The Fugitive. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's kind
'cause
of the
it's the
same
same.
thing.
It's a
the same.
sequel, I think. Or it's
a
in the same
sequel.
universe.
Yes, yeah, because
Oh,
Tommy
really?
Lee
Oh,
Jones is
that makes
reprising
sense.
his
Same
character.
character.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
That's why they're all setting up perimeters. But no, I think because he's like a ex Special Forces Black Ops kind of guy in that film, right?
Is he?
Yeah. That's why they're finding it really hard to catch him because he's like the fugitive, but he's got military training as well.
Yeah.
So he's that's why he's able to run away and elude them so well. And I think he does a little bit of fighting in it as well. I think he manages to disarm Robert Downey Jr., even though he's got the drop on him, which I don't know how impressive that is. But Demolition Man, his character Simon Phoenix. So Simon Phoenix was a terrible bad guy, back in the in-universe 80s
Yep.
or something.
Yep.
And then like he and Stallone's character, I forget Stallone's character's name, but they have like an ongoing rivalry.
Yeah.
His name is Spartan. That's right. So it's Spartan versus Phoenix. And like, but then they both end up getting frozen and end up in the future.
Yep.
With Sandra Bullock. But when they freeze Simon Phoenix, they condition him, like they add like programming to him or something to make him like really good at like hacking and really good at like martial arts.
What was the reason for them to freeze?
I think that was his punishment. I think Phoenix's punishment was freezing, getting frozen. And then like Spartan, because of all the destruction that he caused.
Yes.
Because he blew up a building.
Yeah, he blew up the building.
And they think there's a bunch of like civilians in the building. So when it blows up, like, he's like, a mass murderer, basically. So they freeze Stallone as well. So they're both being punished.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So yeah, like, but when Phoenix gets frozen, he, like the bad guys, they intend to thaw him out, but before they do, they give him a lot of programming to make him like really good at stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's
he beats up a lot of people in Demolition Man.
Yeah, like at a museum. He runs amok, but they're like all kind of pacifists as well, though.
Yeah,
isn't it like
scientists?
Isn't it like a super like woke like future? Apparently, like when they've
it's
abolished
time,
like
man.
everything.
It's time. They imagine future San Francisco as like a really like woke society that you can't
a woke utopia.
You can't make physical contact.
You can't make physical contact. You can't swear.
Yeah. There's no toilet paper anymore. There's
they use like a conch or something.
So like Simon Phoenix being like really good at karate or whatever, and also having that like 80s 90s mentality of like destruction.
Yeah, he's a really bad guy.
He's a bad guy in this film. So for me, it's like a toss-up between his most powerful character is a toss-up between Simon Phoenix and Sheridan from U.S. Marshals.
It'd probably be Demolition Man because like that's more of a camp action thingo that probably suits.
He's got a little bit of crazy psychoticness going for him in those movies for sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I'm just looking at Wesley Snipes' other action films and they're just like not really that memorable aside from Blade. But Blade.
Surprised, he's pretty good in Blade, to be fair. The fighting and stuff like that.
He's really good in Blade.
I think he can actually do stuff when he's not being too lazy.
Yeah.
Doesn't he do like kickboxing?
Yeah, he can fight.
He can fight. Yeah,
he's good at that. He can fight. He can evade tax.
Yeah. not forever though.
So are we going with Simon Phoenix then?
I mean, there's also his character in Expend4bles 3. Doc, but I think he is playing like an aging kind of guy.
Yeah,
like
I barely
they all
remember
are.
his character in Expend4bles 3.
He's good with knives, so he's kind of like Jason Statham's like.
He has some cool stuff, but then they cut away from the violence.
Yeah. I think he was in prison for a while and then got out or something. So, but he's old, so I don't think Doc is as good as Simon Phoenix. Fresh-faced and crazy Simon Phoenix.
Fun character. Yeah.
Is it Simon Phoenix from the movie Demolition Man or Simon Phoenix from the video game Demolition Man? Let's go with the movie one. All right, we're all happy with Simon Phoenix?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to...
I'm going to go to Jason Statham.
Jason Statham?
Oh, fucking Jason Statham. Jason Statham from the Meg 2, man.
I have a feeling Jason Statham has a lot.
He has a lot.
Formidable characters.
The Beekeeper, man.
Hasn't come out at time of recording.
The Beekeeper, Wrath of Man.
But at the same time, his skill set seems to be kind of the same in most of them.
True.
Right?
Except for in the Meg where he can also swim.
Hey, man, he was an
Olympic diver.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he's been in a lot. He's been in The Mechanic. He's in the Fast. He's in the Fast series. He's the Transporter. I think the Transporter is probably his most famous outside.
For sure.
What about Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw?
Oh, yeah. He's pretty badass in that too, actually.
He's badass in that, but those are shit movies.
What about Turkish from Snatch?
Doesn't do much fighting in that.
Doesn't do any fighting. He just get owned.
He's in Ghosts of Mars? Okay. Oh, he's in the one. Remember the one? We talked about the one in the last Martial Artists Battle Royale.
Yeah. He's in Rouge Assassin as well.
Yeah. He is in Rouge.
He's worked alongside Jet Li. He can keep up with Jet. He doesn't really fight Jet Li. I think he's on the same side as Jet Li in both of those films, right?
Yeah. He's good. I mean, I think people like watching him on screen.
For sure.
Yeah.
He's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, so
He's very charismatic. I really enjoy Jason Statham movie.
Do you prefer him in his Guy Ritchie period or like his action phase?
Ooh.
Because he's pretty good in the Guy Ritchie
He's good in the Guy Ritchie stuff, but he's also super entertaining to watch in his action. I like those Guy Ritchie movies a bit more.
Yeah.
Like as films. Yeah.
He's probably more replaceable in the Guy Ritchie movies.
Yeah,
whereas in movies like The Transporter,
right.
it's like
he's got the physicality.
He is the transporter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like people just that's Jason Statham.
And he's Shaw in the
He's Shaw and or Hobbs.
Yeah.
He's Shaw. He's Shaw.
I don't know.
Pretty sure he's Shaw.
Luke Hobbs is The Rock, right?
Yeah, Luke Hobbs is The Rock. You're right. Yeah. So his character in The Transporter's name is Frank Martin. So Frank Martin's skill sets: he can fight, he can drive.
Yes.
Same as
He can
Shaw.
keep a tight schedule.
Is he just the equalizer?
He's very neat and tidy, isn't he?
Because he's a transporter.
Yeah. I mean, he's got some fucking amazing feats, this character in the Transporter films. I think this was in the trailer of the Transporter film, but they took it out for the movie. But he deflects like an RPG with like
With
a dinner tray.
Dinner tray.
Boy.
Yep, I remember that.
That's not even his most wild thing he's done. The wildest shit was when he like flips the car over and takes the bomb. It was a 2? Yeah.
Yeah. So he sees there's a bomb underneath his car, right? And he remembers there's like a crane with a hook. So what he does is he drives really fast to the crane and flips his car upside down and unhooks the bomb from his car.
As you do.
Keeps driving.
He was also in the Crank series.
Oh,
the one where like his heart has been replaced with like a battery burner, so he has to like lick like electricity or something to like keep it charged.
Yeah, or he needs like adrenaline.
Yeah.
So he needs to like have sex and stuff as well.
Yeah, so he has sex with like Amy Smart in the middle of like in public. And it's like,
Is he? I've tried to watch Crank 2 and it was just so bad that I stopped watching it. Is he? Have you seen that?
I haven't seen Crank 2.
I've seen Crank 1, but I can barely remember anything. I remember that sex scene.
Like,
it was so random.
Is his character Chev Chelios like strong?
He's like a hitman.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's like quite strong.
I would say he's as strong as the transporter.
Because the thing about the transporter is he often fights big groups of guys. Right?
Yeah. He's like beating up mobs.
Yeah. Okay. So that guy's pretty strong. Death Race? Anyone seen Death Race?
No, I haven't seen Death Race.
What about his character from the Expendables franchise, Lee Christmas?
He's pretty badass in the Expendables.
Yeah.
But he's often using like
he's using knives.
Or brass knuckles.
And brass knuckles.
Been leaning on those brass knuckles for a bit. Yeah. But he's older as well.
That's true.
I guess that might
He's very old. He's like 50.
Yeah.
The character Lee Christmas.
No, not
Jason Statham.
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
There's also Wrath of Man, the another Guy Ritchie movie.
His character's name is H in that movie, apparently.
He's a mysterious man.
Oh, he was in Operation Fortune Ruse de Guerre.
Yeah.
As Orson. I've seen that film.
Yes.
I think it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. It's kind of forgettable, but it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So we're not picking Jonas Taylor from The Meg 2, The Trench, and The Meg.
Nah,
he kicks a shark in the face, man. A big shark.
Yeah, and he fights as well. Shark. He's basically Jason Statham in that movie.
In the second movie, he's basically Jason Statham.
Yeah, he like kicks him.
I don't think he does as much fighting in the first movie.
They're just like, you're Jason Statham, just go like fight people. I'm pretty sure the Chinese like go fight people or something like that. He's writing the script.
I haven't seen any of the Meg movies, so I can't vouch for his strength in any of them.
Yeah,
but he's kicking the Meg in the face. He's got to be pretty strong.
He's kind of keeping it at bay, right? With the help of a big chain.
Yeah.
But Deckard Shaw was able to fight The Rock and survive. So, and The Rock is much bigger than him, so that's a pretty good effort, isn't it?
Your contracts were like, Does Jason Statham have one of those contracts where he can't like take damage?
Now. I'm inclined to go with the Transporter.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Transporter.
I think that's probably the most logical choice.
Yeah.
It's his quintessential role.
It is his quintessential role.
Would it be the Transporter wearing his cleanly pressed suit? Or would it be the Transporter half naked, covered in oil? I mean, he's most powerful when he's covered in oil.
Is that his final form?
But technically, that could be used as a weapon.
The oil.
It's basically a weapon.
That's fair. All right. Stock Transporter then. Frank Martin is in the ring. All right. Our last actor is Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, JCVD.
Don't challenge
me, man.
Do not. Just
Don't
do
challenge
it.
him.
Don't do it, guys. So immediately what springs to mind is Colonel Guile.
I'm going to get my bolt.
He is technically human, Colonel Guile.
It's true. It wouldn't have been my first choice.
What is your first choice then?
I think when I think of Jean-Claude Van Damme, like kickboxer always comes to mind.
Yes.
I think of Hard Target.
Yeah,
like
kickboxer.
John
What's the
Woo,
other
yeah.
one?
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
Universal
yeah.
Soldier.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Universal
Yeah.
Soldier, he's
Soldier.
not human, except maybe the start of the film.
Oh, yeah. That's
He's
true.
like, it's one of those Robocop situations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the
Cyborg.
quest as well,
Cyborg
which
man.
is like actually
like-
about him like beating up everyone that's good at fighting.
Yeah.
And coming out on top.
Does he fight a sumo wrestler in that film?
Then
Which
that
one?
rings a bell.
Is that the birth of like the split nut punch thing?
it might
Because
be.
like Johnny Cage is modeled off Van Damme,
Yeah,
right?
I think
But
so.
I forget
yeah.
which movie Van Damme.
Might
I
have been,
think
is it a
maybe
kickboxer?
Bloodsport or Kickboxer.
Oh, no, Bloodsport.
The one where he's got the red sash around his waist. I can't remember which film that was. Big fans of this guy, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Hard Target.
Yeah, I'm thinking Hard Target.
Hard Target, man.
Hard Target is a sick
Chance
movie.
Boudreaux. You
It's-
remember
it's-
this film, Boon?
It's like John Woo's second
I
best
haven't seen it.
American film.
I have not seen Hard
Oh, I
Target.
haven't seen Hard Target.
I think
It's
it's on
great.
Netflix, man. Treat yourself. Hard
Yeah,
Target
got a
is-
really
is-
deliciously over the top Lance
It's great.
Henriksen performance as well.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
he's
the-
like, oh, God.
Just
Go get him. What are you waiting for? Kill him. Like, yeah,
it's
something like
pretty much
Lance
it.
Henriksen.
I can
Gets
picture
really
it.
accurate,
Like
yeah.
the premise is Lance Hendrickson is running like a organization that secretly hunts humans for sport.
Yep.
So he like caters to rich people that want to
Yeah.
hunt humans. And
But Van Damme is a hard target.
yeah, Van Damme is a hard
He's a hard
target. So
target.
they happen to pick him, or like he gets embroiled in this situation. So they're trying to hunt him, but he's like this kind of like Louisiana street smarts guy. So he knows like the swamp, and he uses like a snake
He
as a
uses
trap
a
at
snake,
one
yeah.
point.
So he evades them, sets booby traps.
Yeah. And then kickboxes them at the end or something.
Sounds sick.
Yeah, it's a fucking sick movie.
Yeah, Hard Target is great. I remember like rewatching it again when it was on. It was just on TV one night, like quite a number of years back, and it was like this is the time where I was becoming a little bit jaded, and then it's just like, oh, Van Damme movie, Hard Target, and I watched it. I was like, oh man, this is awesome because it's got like it's a John Woo movie, you know. So there's bits where it like pumps dudes.
It
like,
feels really
full of
John Woo.
iron,
It's like
yeah.
John Woo before Hollywood like sucked all the life out of
yeah,
John Woo. So like Lance Hendrickson has like this long black coat
Yeah,
on for
yeah.
a lot of the time. There's definitely a dove or pigeons in there.
Yep.
Yeah. He's got a crossbow. No, he's got like this weird like pirate gun. It's like his signature gun. And he can only load like one bullet in it at a time. But-
it's like the gun that the Mad Dog uses in Hard Boiled. Is that the kind of the gun that he's trying to use?
It's like he uses it for like the kill shot. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like dramatically loading like this single round into this like long
yeah.
pistol.
I think I remember that. Yeah,
I'm queuing this up.
yeah. we should watch it.
It's a great
It's
movie,
a great
man.
movie.
What else is Van Damme got? Yeah, Colonel Guile from Street Fighter. He does a sonic boom in that movie.
He does a couple of moon kicks.
He does some moon kicks.
Oh, he's did Double
Some-
Impact with Dennis Rodman.
Oh yeah,
Double Impact with Dennis Rodman,
Yeah.
correct.
That's right. Oh yeah, The Quest as mentioned, Christopher Dubois.
I think that was the very first Van Damme movie I ever saw because I remember watching it on the plane. On the way to Thailand when I was like 6 years old. I'm like, oh, what is this movie, The Quest? And remember, like, he was like this old guy comes in and like beats the shit out of all these old like dudes at a bar, and then like he sits down to tell his story, and then he's like, yeah, it's The Quest. Oh, that's a classic.
It's a classic, right? It's
Yeah.
like classic, like you go off and do a random martial arts tournament that
Yeah.
has very few rules.
The
a la
Quest. I want to
Mortal
watch
Kombat.
it.
Yeah, it came out similar time to the Mortal Kombat movie as well.
Yeah,
so
96,
So that
yeah.
tournament style martial art movie was really in vogue at the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff, that one. Anything recent? I guess Villain.
Expendables.
From the Expendables 2,
Don't
yeah.
challenge me as
Challenge him. He is pretty imposing, isn't he? that
Very
guy?
evil.
very evil.
Yeah, very
His
evil.
name is Villain.
Yeah, yeah, very.
Pretty on the
Yeah.
nose, isn't it?
Genius writing.
Stallone was just like, when he wrote that line.
It's like he put it there as a placeholder.
Verlaine.
Jean-Claude rocks up on set, but Stallone realizes he hasn't finished the script. He's like, "Oh, so my character's name is Verlaine." Like, he mispronounces it.
Verlaine.
Yeah, you know, I just thought it would be good to probably call you Verlaine.
Challenge him. Yeah, I mean, he does some stuff in that. He fights Stallone at the end.
Yep.
You know, Barney is obviously, a professional killer who is the lead in these Expendable movies, and nobody's been able to kill him. And Verlaine kind of goes toe to toe with him.
Yep.
He does a few like jumping roundhouse kicks, which I feel like maybe Stallone. I mean, maybe Jean-Claude did for himself.
Yeah, that was like his trademark, was like the roundhouse.
I reckon he did it himself.
Yeah, for a guy that age to do that, though.
Yeah, he probably did it himself. Yeah,
I remember the shot is like a front, like it's him front on.
Yeah,
like, you get a very good, clear look at his face, and maybe they just did it once and they recycled the footage.
Yeah.
Well, he did like that.
But even one
Did that really viral TV commercial? Like,
where he does the splits.
where he does the splits?
Between the trucks.
And I think he did the splits for real. So, and he was pretty old when he did that. So I'm guessing all the stunts, the kicking ones anyway, would have been him.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
that's his thing.
Yeah, very
he
flexible guy.
kicks the knife into Liam Hemsworth. Yeah, doesn't he?
That's right. Yeah. Like spin kicks.
You know why, Tavi? Because he challenged him.
Don't challenge me.
He's like, respect must be taught. Are you a wolf or a sheep? Villain. Villain. Fucking hell.
It's I'm inclined to pick, but like Boon hasn't seen the movie, but I would pick Hard Target Van Damme.
Yeah, I think like for the mullet alone, man. Look at this.
He sounds like a badass.
He's like the most he's got the most skills.
But yeah, I mean he's got the fighting ability, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like because he fights a bunch of guys like on the streets of New Orleans or something. But then he's also got like he's also got like the trapping ability and the tracking ability. Yeah. Like he's got that kind of streets. He's almost like Wolverine. He can smell people coming a mile away kind of thing. And he can shoot, even though that doesn't, factor into this Martial Artists Battle Royale. All right, are we happy putting Chance Boudreau in the ring?
Yeah, I'll put him in there. I'm just going to load up a fight scene on YouTube.
Do you want me to put it up?
Yeah, you can put it up. Show your wallet.
Yeah, you should watch this movie, dude.
So we'll come back. So we literally just watched a scene just to give Boon some kind of
some context as to the badassery of Chance Boudreau. Are you convinced, Boon?
I think we have the winner.
All right.
I think this battle royale is over.
We'll see. So we've got our 4 contestants, right? We've got Steven Seagal's Casey Ryback from Under Siege. We have Wesley Snipes' Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man.
Mm.
We have Jason Statham's Frank Martin from the Transporter series. And we have Jean-Claude Van Damme's Chance Boudreau from the Hard Target movie. The Hardest Target.
Well, Simon Phoenix would just lose because in this universe, he's a bad guy and bad guys never win. So that's just like he's lost.
Who do you think is taking him down, though? You think they team up on it? They recognize that this motherfucker's crazy, and they just
they just kill him.
Yeah.
None of his karate skills.
He's got like a weird like future suit on.
He's got his overalls on.
Yeah, like blue overalls.
But yeah,
maybe blonde hair or something.
It's pretty hard for the other 3 because they all have like different. They all have like the same kind of set of skills in terms of like hiding and like fighting and beating up a lot of dudes at the same time.
Yeah, they do. They do a lot of beating up a lot of dudes at the same time. Frank Martin, he's not greased up, so he's not as strong as he usually is.
Yeah.
Do you think Chance Boudreau's like Louisiana instinct helps him at all in this fight?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Do you think he can find a snake somewhere and like chuck it at
the task at hand is pretty clear.
Yeah, I guess like he kind of doesn't have a hometown advantage, and
That's
he's
true.
not really like he's shooting a lot of guns in Hard Target as well.
Yeah, he's also got the element of surprise for a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Right. So He kind of banks on that, on like, you know, sneaking up on people and getting them with traps.
Yeah.
Whereas Frank Martin is more like a head-on kind of guy. Like there's like in the Transporter, he like basically just fly kicks through the door of the bad guy's house, right? And beats up all the guys there.
He's kind of almost superhuman in the Transporter movies, even though he's not technically. Yeah.
So would we say that Jean-Claude is out then?
But anyway, are any of them working together though? It's the thing.
Steven Seagal wouldn't work together. Do you reckon like Statham and Van Damme would just kill Seagal because he's a massive jerk?
It would be a toss-up. Like they go into the ring, they're looking at Simon Phoenix and they're looking at Steven Seagal. It's not even Casey Ryback, it's just Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal.
Just like,
so this is like the extra diegetic. It's just like, nah, like fuck Steven Seagal. He's a massive
Seagal
jerk.
Also probably looks the most out of shape as well, out of all of them.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, so let's take out Seagal.
But I feel like he's also... now I'm crossing into Steven Seagal. I was going to say Steven Seagal is like the most cowardly out of all as well.
I think it was just based on their characters.
His characters are not cowardly at all, are they?
No.
They're like, they just go up there to the bad guys and like, what do you do? Give me the knife. And then they take the knife using Aikido. I don't think that would work on these characters though.
There's nothing to take.
There's nothing to take.
He'd like front, he'd be like, he'd go up to Frank Martin and be like, nice suit or whatever, like he'll give something badass, more badass than that, and then Frank Martin would just like spin kick him in the face.
I think like
usually the guys just fall down when I do that.
We did say like it would be based on characters, but for the interest of time, I'm factoring in like actors as well. So Seagal would just lose.
I think so.
I feel like he doesn't use as many kicks as well.
Yeah.
Like
he's not used to it. Like usually the guys he's fighting, like they try to punch him and he just grabs their fingers and like flips it.
He like deflects. He deflects their punch and then like
does a bit of slapping.
Tosses them.
You can't slap Statham and Jean-Claude. Yeah.
I've never seen. I couldn't imagine anybody slapping Frank Martin or Chance Boudreaux. Or Simon Phoenix for that matter. No, I think Casey Ryback is out. I think for two reasons. I think he just doesn't have the like abilities to best any of them, but also because he's got the overconfidence to like get himself into trouble.
That's true.
You know, I think he'd be the first to walk in and challenge Chance
Boudreaux. So like he says, "I don't challenge me." You know?
And then he just gets spin kicked.
Get spin kicked by any one of them. Any one of them would spin kick him in the face. So that takes him out. All right, Chance Boudreaux and Frank Martin are left then. Facing off on
the ultimate face off.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, we know which one has the better hair.
That's true. Well, one of them actually has hair.
That's the joke.
One of them is better dressed though. Actually, I don't mind Chance Boudreaux's drip. It's pretty good.
If we're talking about like technique, like a spin kick is pretty like what's it advertised is you can really
telegraphed.
Telegraphed, that's it.
I feel like there'd be a point in this fight where they're spin kicking each other and just not connecting.
Is that move that they do in some martial arts movies where they like cut those it was in something, and they like they keep spin kicking each other.
Yeah, you're thinking of Mortal Kombat Annihilation. When Raiden fights a bunch of ninjas, there's a bit where like they're just spin kicking each other and not connecting with anything.
Rings a bell.
There's also a bit in fucking one of the Star Wars films where they're like spinning their lightsabers around, but no one's hitting no one. Yeah, like that kind of thing. I think there'd definitely be a point in the fight where they're doing that.
That's in Revenge of the Sith.
That's right. That's what it is. But I mean, like, I think the Transporter is more used to being in scrapes. I think Chance Boudreaux is kind of like he was in it and then he was out of it.
Yeah,
and
he's kind of thrusted in. It sounds like he's just thrusted into this situation that he doesn't want to be in. But he's equipped to deal with it.
And he's kind of on the back foot for a lot of the movie. Like he's running away from the people and having to evade them and having to hide and like bide his time.
Yeah, whereas the Transporter is one of the most OP action heroes.
He just
he's a bit more of a man of action, I think. Yeah,
he just goes
and
in.
he's a little bit more nimble as well. Like I said, like he just
especially when it's greased up.
Like he spots like Van Damme trying to do a spin kick. He just just get out of there, just dodge it.
Yeah, or he'd catch it probably.
He'd
catch it and flip him or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in this situation, Frank Martin would take Chance Woodrow. If it was like in the swamps of New Orleans, then probably Chance Woodrow would win.
Yeah.
But in the ring, I think Frank Martin takes this one.
Yeah. That's how to say that. Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme wouldn't.
That's not the best
win in a
match.
real fight.
Yeah.
Who's to say who would win in a real fight?
Was Jason Statham's not a traditional martial artist,
I don't think
right?
so.
He's had some training.
I think he's had some training.
He's had
but
training since for movies.
He can do flips and shit because of his diving.
You've seen him do that bottle cap challenge, right?
Yeah. Bottle cap challenge.
Yeah, he did the bottle cap challenges. One of the cleaner kicks that I saw of those challenges. Yeah, I don't know how many turns it took him to do it, but no. So our winner is Frank Martin.
Yeah,
I fucking won the battle royale. I didn't think I'd win, but I won. I won it. I'm the transporter.
Means more than this Oscar that he's going to get for Expendables 4.
Yeah, for sure.
No, he's gonna get the Oscar for The Beekeeper. Yeah. It's a movie that I actually really want to see.
Yeah, it's all right, man.
Yeah, it's I'm just
Dad
a
action.
beekeeper.
Kills the guy with honey.
Yeah.
Sick. Oh well.
All right, I think that's us for tonight. Thank you everyone for listening. What did you think of Expend4bles? If you've seen it,
Don't waste your time.
Watch Hard Target instead.
yeah, watch Hard Target. That's a fucking sick movie, and I think it's on Netflix for now.
Watch
So
Beekeeper.
you might be able
It's
to
probably
catch
out
it.
by this time this episode is out.
I can't wait for Beekeeper. The guy, so stupid. The guy, he was like in a military organization called the Beekeepers, but then he retired and decided to become a literal beekeeper.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean,
It's so silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
can't wait though.
Can't wait.
But yeah, guys, did you agree with our picks for the Martial Artists Battle Royale round 2? Who would you like to see come up in round 3? Let us know. You can get in touch with us at 2asianblokes@gmail.com. You can join our Facebook group to be part of the conversation, or you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at 2asianblokes to see what we're up to. Thank you to Boon for joining us for this extra long episode
No worries.
and for watching Expend4bles with us.
Yeah. Can't wait for the next shitty action movie.
Yeah.
Expend 5 balls.
It's true.
We'll probably do Beekeeper or something.
Yeah. We'll do something. Yeah. Sure.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. See you
All
later.
right. See you
Peace
later,
out.
guys.
Bye.
Don't challenge me.